Today I want to talk about application development with plant and animal-based byproducts at ANiMOX. I talk a little bit about our daily work and our R&D activities in the last years. First, as ANiMOX, Annika, do you see also this or not? No, it's going away. Okay. ANiMOX is developing sustainable processes with bio-based materials and also extracts and processes byproducts for these process developments. We are developing from the lab up to the production process, and therefore we are doing the analysis of bio-based residues, detection of valuable ingredients, contract developments, and production and process transfer, and also R&D with industrial partners, institutes, or universities. And we are doing also sample production up to the kilo scale for pre-test and sample material analysis. Our facilities allowing to do the byproduct recycling development. In this area, we have also different patterns. We are developing products and doing R&D service in these steps. We analyzing these raw materials. We are doing different pre-treatment developments and process development for the extraction of the goal fractions, what we want to have for the customer, and we are doing then also the downstream, like separation, cleaning of different materials, and also concentration drying of fractions. And in the end, we have developed a process with a process documentation and mass balances, but we have also products in hand before you start the industrialization of this process. For this, we have in our labs different technologies from pre-treatments with cutting, mincing from the small up to the medium scale, process options for chemical, enzymatic, thermal extraction of raw materials, downstream process like separation, filtration steps, and also for the product finishing, drying, and concentration options for these materials. While we are doing this, the bio-based materials, the application development in the last year is growing, and for the bio-based industry, a lot of raw materials are needed. When you want to increase the bio-based production, you also need more available raw materials. And you don't want to have a problem with food production and so on, because the demand there is also growing. That's why we are looking at plant-based and animal-based byproducts, not the mainstreams. We looked into the side streams where we can get different fractions like proteins, oils, carbohydrates for technical applications. And also in the animal-based area, we have a lot of raw materials. That's here an example for Europe, in ton scale, and only part of the material is used for food grade and feed or pet food, but we have also a large area which is used for fuels or fertilizer and other things, and there we have fractions which could be upgraded, used in better quality for technical applications. And so We are working in the development with bio-based materials in 3 areas. We are using plant-based raw materials, which are side streams from things like oil pressing or also other focused application. And we are using then the protein, for instance, the protein side streams for developing of biopolymers, coatings, adhesives, or hydrolysates. We are using also animal-based side streams, and these animal side streams can also be used as additives or different polymer fractions, coating fractions, and we are using also these side streams, which it's getting more and more um, important as a raw material for fermentation processes like carbon and nitrogen sources. That's really important because it's not useful to produce industrial fermented raw material with high quality raw materials. You need to use more side streams and byproducts for these applications. Now I come to some examples, what we are using and what we are doing for the plant-based raw materials. For instance, we are using press cakes from oil pressing and extraction residues from production processes here like hops or hemp. And we are also using directly plant seed or fruit waste materials for extracting products and molecules for application. There we developing applications like biopolymer uh, developments for paints, coatings, and also lubricants and additives, but also bio-based adhesive components are really important, or also detergents, cleaner developments are developed in this area. With the animal raw materials, we must first look at the current laws to how to handle this raw material. ANiMOX has the allowance to work with this raw material, and so you have to have a look which categories are in Europe available. You have category 3 material, which is mainly from food production, that you can use in a lot of application, from feed or pet food applications up to chemical use. Here you have a really good quality of the raw material, and so a lot of things can be done, but also other categories are available, like category 2, which can be used for fertilizer, biogas, and so on. But here's also a development in fermentation, an option which could be used then for cheap fermentation application, like biogas is one of these. But the category 1 are currently not usable, but we think perhaps in a further development, not only the burning makes sense, perhaps also for some fermentation steps, they could be used. It's a question of handling and development. Yeah, we are extracting these raw materials in our processes in our labs. We are doing different steps, mainly combined treatment and heating steps, because so we integrate also a sterilization step in the process, and that's good because of the material quality, it's more stable after this sterilization then, and we can separate in the end the material in mineral fraction, protein fraction, and mainly fat fraction, and they can be then handled separately after this step and can be further processed to match the requirements of the development. And yeah, typical application, what we have done were application of proteins and composites, films and coatings, adhesives, also in surfactants and additives, and also filaments and fibers as a really important and interesting development area. And the fermentation process, the third part is now, here are some examples for plant-based material, often yeast extract or soy protein hydrolysates used in fermentation processes where complex nitrogen sources are necessary. And we compared here different materials like rapeseed press cakes, hydrolysates, or hops, sunflower, linen material, and we've done some example cultivation steps here in 24 square deep well plates to see how the growing is of this material compared with yeast extract or also with other materials. And we could see that the other alternative bio-based plant extracts were also very good usable. So we have here a basis for using this extract and also these byproducts for fermentation processes. This is really interesting, mainly for developments like industrial raw material fermentation with bio-based sources, raw material sources, because you can not only use the protein fraction here for the cultivation, you can also use by pre-treatment also the carbohydrate fraction. So you have a mixed raw material what you can feed then directly in these fermentation processes. Other development what we are currently doing with the technical university since several years is production of bioplastic. There we are responsible for the feedstock, different bio-based side streams. We are doing the pre-treatment, and then at the technical university in the fermentation development, there is the cultivation development to get high yields of PHA in these productions, and we are doing also the downstream processing then of this PHA to get it out of the cells in a good quality after the fermentation process. That we have also developed in kilogram scales for different research projects. And yeah, here are also some other activities what we have done. We have also a lot of activities in the areas of enzyme biomolecules, extraction and synthesis. That's a development steps where we are working in preparative scale, also in kilo scale. We are doing this for customer, which have this development focus. We are doing the process development for the enzyme extraction, and we are doing also the analysis of the enzyme activity and also the biomolecule synthesis and also the downstream processing of these products. So we are looking for a partner for the implementation of bio-based materials in industrial processes. That's really an interesting case. But we are also looking for partners with pilot plans to do the next development step for some developed processes with over 100 kilograms up to the ton scale. And also we are looking for raw material side streams which are currently not used and where an application development could be interesting. Yeah, so I thank you for your application, your attention, and yeah, are ready for some questions and so on.